Remember the restaurants where we used to sit, laugh, and dig into sizzling steaks, crispy fries, or endless pizza buffets? This video takes you back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s, exploring the iconic Australian eateries that are gone today, but still alive in our memories. We'll revisit legendary steakhouses, fish and chip shops, and pizza chains that once lined the streets of Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Stick around until the end. Some names will feel instantly familiar, and you might even realise you miss them just a little. Sizzler. Do you remember piling your plate high at Sizzler, where every meal felt like more than just dinner? It all began in 1985 in Annerley, Brisbane, when the very first Sizzler opened its doors and introduced Australians to a brand new mix of juicy steaks and endless buffet indulgence. Families flocked in, kids raced to the salad bar, and birthdays or even the occasional wedding were celebrated beneath the warm glow of its dining rooms. By the 1990s, Sizzler was at its peak, with dozens of bustling locations across the country and a loyal following who knew exactly what joy awaited at those long counters. But as dining trends shifted, the brand began to fade, closing outlets one by one. The original Annerley store held on until 2017 before saying goodbye. Yet Sizzler isn't gone entirely. 9 locations still serve today, keeping alive the taste of nostalgia for generations who remember its magic. Smorgies. Do you remember walking past a restaurant that looked more like a theme park than a place to eat? That was Smorgy's, a dining experience Melbourne would never forget. With facades of giant volcanoes, glowing Polynesian statues, and interiors transformed into jungles and boats. Stepping inside felt like entering another world. And yes, those volcanoes actually erupted, spitting bursts of fire into the night sky as diners laughed over heaping plates of buffet favourites. Smorgy's never expanded nationally, but in Melbourne it became a quirky institution, a place where families gathered not just for the food, but for the spectacle. Kids were mesmerised by the fiery displays, while parents enjoyed a meal wrapped in an atmosphere equal parts bizarre and unforgettable. But all the theatrics in the world couldn't protect the brand forever. By the early 2000s, Smorgy's closed its doors for good, leaving behind only memories of volcanoes, laughter, and uniquely Melbourne nights out. Pizza Hut. Do you remember piling into Pizza Hut with friends, the red roof glowing like a beacon, promising an evening of endless slices and laughter? In the 80s and 90s, it wasn't just a restaurant, it was the place for kids' birthday parties, where the magic of the all-you-can-eat pizza and dessert buffet turned every gathering into a celebration. Families sleared into the familiar booths, pitchers of soft drink on the table, as kids raced back and forth between the dessert bar and the pizza trays, piling plates sky-high with cheesy goodness. The sound of clinking cutlery and birthday songs filled the air, making Pizza Hut feel like a second home for an entire generation. Today, Pizza Hut still exists, but not in the same way most remember. The iconic brick and barn roof stores have been repurposed into everything from shops to offices. Some nostalgic fans even dedicated their lives to photographing them, preserving memories of a red-roofed era we'll never forget. Pizza Haven. Long before delivery apps ruled the streets, Pizza Haven was the underdog giving Pizza Hut a real fight. Launched in 1984 by 4 ambitious brothers, the chain grew from a single shop into a nationwide franchise, delivering hot, cheesy boxes straight to family doorsteps across Australia. For many, Pizza Haven meant Friday nights on the couch, movie marathons, and the thrill of opening a fresh box stacked with slices. It felt like a brand that could truly rival the red-roofed giant. For a while, the battle lines of the pizza wars were clear: Pizza Hut in one corner, Pizza Haven in the other. But the story took a turn. In 2008, Pizza Haven was bought out by Eagle Boys, which itself collapsed into Pizza Hut in 2016. A full circle as the fiery competitor disappeared, leaving behind memories of a time when Australia had its very own pizza rivalry. Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon. If you ever tossed peanut shells onto the floor of a restaurant, chances are it was at Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon. Opening its first location in Parramatta in 1993, Lone Star quickly became a hotspot for hearty steaks, cold beers, and that unmistakable Texas-inspired atmosphere. By the year 2000, the chain had grown to 21 restaurants across Australia, each buzzing with families, friends, and groups looking for a lively night out. But rapid expansion came with challenges. 10 stores were closed after operational reviews, and by 2003, the American parent company sold the remaining locations in New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland to local operators. Some restaurants were later absorbed by Outback Jack's Bar and Grill, but the original Parramatta site and all Queensland locations eventually closed in 2011. Yet for those who remember, Lone Star wasn't just a steakhouse. It was a place to laugh, share stories, and enjoy a slice of Americana right in Australia. The Keg. Picture this: a flashy family steakhouse, gleaming interiors, and the promise of a night out filled with laughter and hearty meals. That was the Keg in Australia during the 1990s. Imported from the US and Canada, it aimed to bring North American dining flair to local families, offering everything from juicy steaks to bustling dining rooms where kids and parents alike could enjoy a special evening. For a brief moment, the Keg captured attention, standing out with its polished atmosphere and family-friendly menu. But despite its charm, the Australian market proved a tougher nut to crack. Competition, cultural differences, and changing dining trends meant that the Keg couldn't find its footing. While the chain still thrives in the US and Canada with over 150 restaurants, its Australian venture quietly disappeared some years ago. Yet for those who remember, it remains a sparkling memory of an ambitious North American dining experience that never quite took root down under. Ollie's. Remember the smell of fried chicken wafting through the streets of Victoria and New South Wales in the 1980s? That was Ollie's, a household name for families craving crispy, golden chicken. With catchy ads featuring Shirley Strachan from Skyhooks, Ollie's became a familiar sight and sound across Australia, promising indulgent meals and fun dining experiences. For a time, Ollie's seemed unstoppable. Kids begged their parents for a visit, friends met up over buckets of chicken, and the chain carved out its place in the hearts of many Australians. But all good things meet competition. 3 little letters changed everything. KFC. The global fast food giant swooped in during the early 90s, buying out the Aussie stores and ending Ollie's reign. Today, the name survives only in memories, nostalgic for anyone who remembers lining up for that perfectly fried, finger-licking chicken. Barnacle Bills. If the smell of hot, crispy fish and golden chips brings back memories, chances are it was from Barnacle Bills. One of Australia's first and most well-known fish and chip franchises, Barnacle Bills was a go-to spot for families craving a classic Aussie takeaway. At its peak, Barnacle Bills could be found in multiple states, serving flaky fish, crunchy chips, and all the sides that made a quick dinner feel like a treat. Kids and adults alike queued up for a taste of that iconic batter and piping hot chips, turning a simple meal into a comforting tradition. Over time, most locations closed, leaving only South Australia to carry on the legacy. Today, 14 restaurants still serve hungry customers, keeping alive the memories of a simpler era when fish, chips, and family nights out meant everything. Barnacle Bills may have vanished from much of Australia, but it's never forgotten. And there you have it, a journey through Australia's forgotten restaurants, each with its own story, flavours and memories. These places may be gone, but they're never truly forgotten. Which one of these spots brings back your fondest memories? Drop a comment below and share your favourite. And if this trip down memory lane made you hungry for more, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss our next nostalgic adventure. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep those memories alive, one bite at a time.